Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of our Go Digital Western Cape webinar series. My name is Robert Davids, and I'll be your host for this afternoon. I'm based with the Digital Economy Unit at the Department of Economic Development and Tourism at the Western Cape Government. And we're very, very pleased on behalf of our unit and the department to welcome all of you who are participating in today's webinar series. Just before I continue, if you would indulge me, I would just like to share some guidelines for today's session and a few housekeeping rules. So firstly, please note that this webinar is being recorded. And then in the interest of not providing interference to all our presenters, we please ask you kindly to mute all your devices and also to turn off your videos. So if all participants could please just mute the device and turn off videos, we'd really appreciate that. Then secondly, throughout the presentations, we will not be taking any immediate questions, but at the end of the panelists, the 3 sessions, we will be having a moderated question and answer session. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, we ask you to please post them in the chat window on your right, and we'll keep track of them and try and get through all, if not some of them, time depending, at the end of the presentations during our question and answer sessions. So with that, we thank you for your time and for your interest in today's session and for joining us. And we hope it's going to be really exciting. So for those of you who haven't joined us on one of these webinars before, the Go Digital Western Cape webinar series is hosted by the Digital Economy Unit, as I said earlier, from the Department of Economic Development and Tourism. And it's part of our response and support to SMMEs during this very extraordinary era we find ourselves, the COVID-19 era. And this webinar is one of the mechanisms in which our department is supporting SMMEs. And the themes are wide in range, and the topics are wide in range, but all of them fall under the same umbrella of looking at how businesses can be supported to digitize. And the digitization of businesses in itself is an important factor in the economy we're living in. But specifically, we're looking at how the digitization of businesses, the use of platforms, tools, applications, and so forth can be of particular relevance during the COVID-19 era. So that's a bit of background on the Go Digital webinar series itself. So coming to our topic for today, of course, Google itself doesn't need any introduction. Google is an international brand and it's a household name. So all of us know Google itself. But today's topic will place particular focus on Google My Business and Google Ads. And that's going to be a really exciting discussion which we have lined up for you. And when we thought about the various topics and we decided on Google, we approached Google to assist us with presenting this webinar and joining us on this. And they referred us to one of their partners called Africa 118. And we have our colleagues from Africa 118 joining us today to present on behalf of Google. So Africa 118, they are formal partners of Google for Google My Business, for Google Ads, and also for Google Digital Skills. And our presenters, Wilfred, Omondi, and Titus, Maina, will actually introduce the company a bit later when they get to their sessions. And we are really excited to have them here. And they're actually joining us all the way from Nairobi in Kenya. So welcome to our presenters, and I'll introduce you a bit more formally in a while. So in addition to Wilfred and to Titus, we also have our own Angela Abbott, who is with the Digital Economy Unit. She'll be our 3rd panelist for today. And Angela will spend a very short while after Wilfred and Titus' presentations on Google My Business and Google Ads on a platform of the department itself. It's called Jump for Entrepreneurs. And Angela will just show you how the Jump platform can be used to access all, if or some of, or most of at least, the tools which Wilfred and Titus will be speaking up beforehand. So those are our three speakers for today. As I said, we'll go into a bit more detail in a minute. So if I can just go to our next slide. So now to our main event for today's session. As you may know, Cape Town is a very important hub in the Western Cape and in the country, and is actually very often referred to as Africa's tech capital. Yet, I must admit, there's across the continent, because we are part of Africa after all, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa are really kind of the leaders in terms of the tech ecosystem and the housing the various tech capitals across the continent. And I think there is some healthy competition between Nairobi and Lagos and Cape Town to be positioned as the tech capital in Africa. So it's a very exciting space. I think these three cities are the leaders in technology and in the tech ecosystem. And I think it's really exciting that we can actually have this opportunity today to collaborate with our colleagues all the way from Nairobi. If I recall correctly, I think about 10 years ago, there was actually a writer called Jake Bright, and he referred to Nairobi as Silicon Savannah at the time. And I think it was in reference to how they compared to Silicon Valley in the US. So having Africa 118 today, we're really excited to have you guys on board. We're looking forward to a very interesting presentation. And thus, if I can say, in the spirit of cooperation and collaboration with our colleagues and partners on the continent, we're pleased to welcome you to our webinar series, and we look forward to the presentations. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to our first presenter from Africa 118, Wilfred Omondi, and he'll take us through the next part of the session. So thank you very much, Wilfred. And just a reminder to all our viewers, if you could please mute your microphones and put off your videos so that there's no interference with the speakers. But once again, thank you, Wilfred and Titus, and over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Robert. Just to start, I can confirm that Nairobi is still the Silicon Savannah. So
okay.
yes, so just to go straight into my presentation. So we are very glad to join you today, all the way from Nairobi, and to collaborate with you to try and share the knowledge that we have, especially during these difficult times. So I'm just going to share my screen with you so that we can be able to follow through on my presentation. I hope it's visible to everyone.
Yes, thank you. We can see it, Wilfred. There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, so my topic, the one that I'll be speaking on today, is titled Taking Your Digital Presence to Greater Heights. So as we've seen, movements of humans can be limited, but that does not mean that your business needs to stop. There are the digital channels that you can be able to exploit to make sure that you're able to still continue with doing business or just getting in touch with your customers. So a classic example is what we are doing today. In as much as I'm not able to travel to South Africa, I'm able to join a community of the Western Cape through a webinar, which is a digital platform. So that's just a simple indication of what the digital platforms can be able to give us. So Robert mentioned that we are from Africa 118. So maybe just to give you a small story about this, there is the bit of Africa and the bit of 118. So 118 is a short code for access to business information in Canada. So we decided to replicate that and bring it to Africa. So when you say Africa 118, well, ideally what we are saying is that we are the hub of business information in Africa. and hence the name Africa 118. So we were established in 2010. So that's about 10 years into operation. We major on digital marketing and location management for businesses across Africa. And that turn means we have about 100 employees and in about 5 countries across the continent. We are a proud Google My Business featured partner. So we're only 5 in Africa, but it's only us that are doing this in major scale. So helping businesses out on Google My Business that we'll be able to cover. And that also means that we get premium support from Google directly on Google My Business. The same applies to Google Ads that my colleague Titus will be able to share with you on. And then the last project that we are doing with Google is the Google Digital Skills, which I believe some of you might have knowledge about it. And for that program, we are running it across different countries again in Africa, starting from Kenya to Uganda to Tanzania to Ghana and to Ethiopia. So that's a little bit about Africa 118. Of course, if you have more questions about it, you can just Google us out or maybe raise a question through the platforms that were shared. So going directly into some of the partners that we've worked with, of course, Google is no doubt. We've worked with Facebook. We are working with Microsoft. We are working with HearMaps. So again, just to emphasize that we also have location management system. So that's where HearMaps come in. If you're talking of the biggest telecommunication network in Kenya, you can't speak about telecommunication without mentioning Safaricom. So again, we are glad to work with Safaricom. And in the banking sector, again, we are working with the Standard Chartered. So those are just some few partners, strategic partners that we are having and we are working with. And for today, we are here majorly because of Google, and we are going to discuss Google My Business. So Google My Business, it's a platform that gives you access to 2 important Google platforms, which is Google Search and Google Maps. So when we say Google Search, ideally that is where you'll take out your phone or maybe your gadget. You want to look for any piece of information. The first place you'll run to is maybe your browser. And when you open your browser, you'll need to type in a query of what you're looking for. So let's say it's getting to lunchtime, you'd like to order some lunch because you haven't cooked. You'll go online, open up your browser and look for, let's say, restaurants that do deliveries near me. So the fact that you're searching for it, where it gets that data from is what we call Google Search. So that is the first platform that Google My Business gives you access to. The second one is Maps, which is related to locations. So you want to move from point A to point B. You are not sure exactly of where, how to maneuver your way. You'll take your phone out and go to Google Maps, put in your location, and then it will be able to direct you. So those 2 important platforms are what Google My Business gives you access to. In addition to that, we'll be able to see how important a website is. And again, the platform is able to help you get a free website that you can start with. So just in an overview, that's what Google My Business is. Just to mention that this is a free platform, which means you don't have to pay in order to use it. Okay, so it's a free platform, gives you access to search and maps. But for you to do that, you have to be verified. So which means you need to put in your information and then Google needs to confirm that the information you've put is correct. So once they are certain that, then they'll be able to verify you so that you can start appearing on maps. So if you've never done that, then if you try Google yourself or maybe your business, let me use business. So if you try Google your business right now, you'll not be able to see it. Why? Because it hasn't been put on the platform. But if it has been put on the platform and it's verified, then you'll be able to see it. So just to give you a quick example of what happened. So for example, just as I mentioned, right now people are searching for essential things. One of them being food. So you want to buy food, you Google maybe buy food near me, and then you on the left side of my screen, you're able to see some of the results that are appearing. So on those results, you have the different profiles with their addresses and their phone numbers, and it's linked to directions. So that is what we call Google My Business. And from the data that we have right now, we are told that when somebody is looking for such kind of information, there is a 29% chances that that search will lead into a sale. So which means if I look for, let's say, a service that you're providing and you are not there, it means you are losing 29% chances of you being into the business, especially during this time. So just to underscore that, the mere fact of being on that platform is already an advantage because you are increasing your chances of doing business by 29% and will be able to do that. So just again, looking at why that is important. So if you look at the general population, so out of, let's say, 4 people who want to look for something to buy, 4 of them will always consider going online to look for that, let's say, business that they want to work with. So for example, you are looking for, say, a digital marketing agency. A group of people are looking for that. So 3 out of 4 within that population, or maybe 75% of that population, will go online to look for such kind of business. Okay, so out of this 75 that are looking for the business, we are told that there is a 70% chance of them translating into business. Okay, so again, that one is just to underscore how important this platform is. Being able to be on that platform, Google My Business, it gives you a head start into starting to doing business. And making sure that your presence is fully optimized on Google My Business, again, will increase your chances and we'll be able to see how that is done. Okay, so we've covered, that's from the platform standpoint in terms of customer behavior. How about the platform itself based on the traffic that it generates? So we are getting that in just 1 month, that platform, the Google My Business platform, is able to drive traffic of up to 100 billion visits in a month. So which tells you that there is traffic, that people are really looking for information. And when they're looking for that information, you better be at the point where they're able to find you. Okay. And I also mentioned that on the platform, you're able to see a phone number that you can call. So we are registering almost 1 billion calls that are coming from that platform. Again, just to underscore that there is visibility within Google My Business. And those who are requesting for directions are about 3 billion. So again, what you're able to see at this point is that in terms of traffic, in other words, in terms of need, there is need already. So people are looking for information. What is left is just making a step ahead as a business owner to ensure that you are where your customers are looking for information. Okay. So just an overview of what Google My Business ideally gives you. So we have 3 things. So number 1 is that it makes you stand out. So making you stand out in that when customers are looking for a service or a product that you're offering, you can be showcased. Okay. So how do you get to be showcased? Because you're already on the platform. All right. And just as we saw, 3 out of 4 people who are looking for business will always go online to look for that business. So by the mere fact that you are on Google My Business, it makes you stand out in that whenever customers are looking for that piece of information and it's related to your business, you can be found. And already when you're found, you have 70% chances of that customer translating into a buying customer. So that is the first thing. And when you talk of standout, you can be able to showcase business information. That's from your business name to the area that you're located in, to your phone number, to your opening hours, all those. And you're even able to include pictures and product and services that you're offering. So that is on the first part of standing out. The second one is being able to engage. So a customer's searched for a service that you offer and they've found you. So what is the next step that they need to take? They need to be able to engage with you. So how do they do that? By either making a phone call to your store, okay? By either requesting direction to your store, by either visiting your website and maybe making an inquiry, okay? Or even on the platform, you're able to send out a text message. So those 3 points, they're able to engage with you and you're able to interact with your customers. And also just to mention that they can leave a review for you. So let's say I walk into your store and I purchase one of your products and I'm happy about it. What I can do, I can also tell others that I did get service from this company. The service was awesome. So I recommend that if you're looking for such kind of service, the best place to go to is this store. So I can be able to leave that review so that others who are also looking for the same information or service that I wanted can be able to see that kind of engagement. In addition to that, they can be able to ask questions. Okay, so in that way, when they ask questions, when they review your business, when they call to your store, or when they request direction to your store, you're able to start engaging with your customers. And that is the second thing that Google My Business platform gives you. And then the last one, which is again not least, is that you are able to get insights. So we all know that nowadays data is very important. So just going into business blindly might not help you as much. But if you have data that is able to back your decisions, then it becomes so much important. And that is exactly what Google My Business profile again gives you. So you're able to see at the back end of the kind of searches that you're getting. So when people find you, let's say, for example, in this case, we have 314 people that are finding you. What are the search terms that they're using in order to find your business? And then out of, let's say, these 314, how many of them are able to, let's say, make phone calls to your store? How many of them are requesting directions to your store? How many of them are visiting your website? So such kind of insights, you can be able to use them to make sure that you're able to attract even more customers or have an understanding of the kind of customers that you're having so that you know how better to target them. So those three things are just an overview of what Google My Business will help you with and some of the advantages that you can take. I will be able to again to cover a little bit on the website, but I know at this point people are now wondering, this looks to be a good platform. So how do we get to be on that platform? So for this, we could go through them step by step, but that is again where we are stepping into. And based on our agreement with Robert, is that we'll be able to send out an email after this, where if you need assistance with your Google My Business profile, we'll be able to help you set it up. So for the case of this presentation, I'll just skip it, but those ones are just steps which will help you to do or to cover, and move to one of the most important things that you always do. So at this point, again, I know that there are people who had tried, they had knowledge about Google My Business, and they would probably input their information, but they're stuck at verification. So again, verification, with our collaboration with Google, we're able to do it instantly. So we'll be reaching out to you after this. If you're interested, then we'll be able to help you out. So nothing to worry about on that. So once you get verified, there are some few things that you can be able to do during this time. So when you'll be able to get access to your profile, you have kind of an interface like what you're seeing on your screen. So on the left side, which has a menu, there is home, there is posts, there is info, insights, and the rest. Okay. So one of the things that you want to do, especially during this time, is to ensure that you have updated your business information, and we'll go through them one by one of what you need to update. So starting with the first one is ensuring that you update your hours of operation. So I know that South Africa is still on lockdown, so which means there is limited movement, and that means businesses that were operating, let's say up to 8 or maybe up to midnight, they no longer do that. So the best thing to do right now is to make sure that you update your business hours if you have a profile, or once we get you verified, is to update your business profile so that it reflects the current hours of operation. Okay, and how you do that, again, you go to the same interface under info. You'll be able to see where you're able to add your hours of operation or maybe change them. So just click on the add hours of operation and you're able to update your profile. Another important thing that you need to do is manage your information. So what does that entail? you are able to add a brief introduction about your business so that whenever somebody finds your profile, they can read through just a small script to get an idea of what your business entails. Okay. So moving forward, another thing that you can be able to do at this point is making use of the posting capability of Google My Business. Okay. So what are some of the posts that you can be able to do? We know that right now it's hard times, and as a business, one way to keep in touch with your customers is be able to make posts that are related to the current situation. So the profile or the platform has put in some customized messages around COVID-19. So one way that you can be able to engage with your customers is through post and making COVID-19 related posts. So what kind of a post can this be? So for example, let's say if you're operating during this time, maybe on a limited time, you can be able to outline some of the measures you're taking. So we ensure that if you're getting into our store, we limit the number of people to 10 maximum at any given point. When you're entering our store, we always provide, let's say, masks that you can use, or maybe hand sanitizers or water to make sure that you clean your hands. So such kind of updates, you could be able to take advantage of the posting capability of Google My Business and update your customers on what you're doing. If let's say you are closed right now and you're offering deliveries, so for a case of a restaurant, you can be able to update them that in as much as we are not allowing sit-ins within our restaurants, you can still come and do an order, we'll be able to deliver. So how do you do that order? You can provide a link if you have, let's say, a booking URL that people can use, or if there is a phone number that people can use to call to make orders. So such kind of posts, you can be able to make them courtesy of the posting capability that the platform offers. And then last but not least is that you can be able to download a mobile application of Google My Business. So once you download it, you can be able to now start messaging your customers, or they can be able to send you messages. And when they send messages, either with inquiries or questions, you are able to engage with them directly. And this is based on the fact that getting onto your phone and writing a message is nowadays very easy than going to, let's say, making a phone call or any other thing. So Google My Business allows you to be able to message directly. So again, just riding on the kind of messaging apps that we always have, okay? So those are some of the key things that you can be able to do. And the last one is that if you're completely closed, it means that you're temporarily closed, you've not shut down your business. So again, you can be able to mark that on your business profile so that if I'm looking for, let's say you're a restaurant, but you've decided instead of opening half a day, let me just put my operations on hold for maybe a month. Then after a month, I'll need to reconsider. So in that case, the tool that you can use is to mark your business as temporarily closed. Okay. So again, that one just helps your customers to be on the know of what is happening. So I think up to that point, I might make a pause and say that this is almost coming to the last slide of my presentation. But I just wanted to show you a quick case study of somebody, especially in South Africa, who has used the platform and the kind of benefits that they've gotten. So this is called Forum Ekesa Culture. So it's a restaurant in South Africa. They decided to create a Google My Business platform. And some of the positive things that they were able to see is, for example, 1.5 increase in website visits for their listings. And because of that kind of increase, they were able to have more customers coming in that necessitated them to have increased employees. So they were able to increase or hire more people, 6 of them. And then people who are just calling to book in, let's say, do reservations and stuff like that, increased by 15%, okay? And then lastly is that the number of people who are requesting their direction so that they can visit the restaurant also again increased. So as I end my presentation, I just want to play a 1-minute video so that we are able to capture this. So I'll just switch to my video. I hope my screen is still visible.
Yes, Wilfred, it's visible. Thank you. No problem.
All right.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Wilfred. There seems to be no sound on the video. Could you just check that for us, please, and perhaps restart if possible?
I restarted.
Thank you. Hi, Wilfred. Sorry, the sound's still not coming through. Could you perhaps just talk us through it? I know it's not ideal, but maybe that would be better than trying to hear the sound.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to share that. It seems we have an issue with the audio, but I think what we can do again, we can just share the link because it's a video that's on YouTube, and we can just have a look at it and see what Ekesa is speaking about. So I think I'll be able to stop at that point, and thank you so much for your attention. I'll be able to welcome questions. I think that's towards the end, and we can just use the chat box if we do have questions.
Thank you very, very much, Wilfred. It's a pity that we couldn't see the video because of the audio problem, especially because it looked like it was in Kailicha right here in Cape Town. So if you could share that link with us, we'd really appreciate it. As Wilfred said, we'll take some questions at the end of the presentations. But I do think what came through very strongly from what you just presented was that visibility is really important. Updated information is very important. It's important to create your platform and to position your brand, and then be able to engage your customers and clients directly using digital resources and using the Google platform. So that was really powerful. So I'm not going to go into much more detail on that, but I'd like to hand over now to Titus, our next presenter, to take us through the section on Google Ads. So Titus, if you could activate your video and sound, that will be really great. And please also just reminder to all our audience members to mute your mics and videos for the sake of not interfering with the presenters. But thanks again very much, Wilfred. Great, and over to you, Titus.
Thank you, Robert. Hi, everyone. My name is Titus Maina from Africa on It, so I'll not delve into details. My colleague here has already talked about our company. I'm very passionate about helping businesses meet their objectives. So my topic for today will be take your business online with Google Ads. As you know, we live in business. We live in an era where there's different business operations because the world right now is reacting to an expected pandemic, so leading to the new normal becoming people working from home. I know a good percentage of you are working from home. So that's basically is creating time, and people are ending up searching for answers and solutions online. And by online, search engines, and the biggest search engine right now in the world is Google. For example, for South Africa alone, it attributes to 96.15% of the people who search online just on Google and not any other platform. So the others share the smaller percentage. So what's happening is the businesses are getting a chance of getting new searchers looking for their services. And if you align your business very well, you have a good ability, a good chance of getting new customers converting from these new searches who are looking for your service. So this is a good time to actually venture online, because we've seen after the time when COVID started, around April, late April and the start of May, there has been a good increase in terms of the people who are searching for phrases like, for example, where to buy a specific product. And then we also know very well that 77% of people, specifically in South Africa, use Google search either daily, weekly, or monthly. So this is the best time to actually, for you to actually be advertising online. So I'll talk about a product called Google Ads. So Google Ads is basically a platform which helps you attract people to your website. So you advertise and people are searching for a service, and then they see your service, they click on it, and then they land on your website. Though from there now they can request for a service. So Google Ads helps you connect with your consumers when they are looking for you. So the big thing which makes Google one of the biggest and one of the most important platforms to ever use for your digital marketing needs is the fact that it has a high intent. So for example, assuming you want to buy a phone tomorrow or a piece of land, you will go to the classified websites, the listing and all that. But the minute you're ready with your money and you want to actually make this purchase, this is a time when you come to Google search. So you've seen so many times you are in an area where you want to go to maybe a restaurant, you're looking for a hotel to sleep tonight. You go to Google, you search for hotels in Cape Town, something like that. So the intent is what makes Google search a very important and powerful platform. So you can see on this screenshot, when you search for a service on Google search, they're usually segmented. You can see there's the organic results. So organic results usually comes under the ads. So for the ads, it's indicated as AD. So you can clearly see when a specific business has actually advertised their business online. And then, of course, it also gives you the ability to define your audience. You can customize and say, I just want to be able to reach specific suburbs in Cape Town. You can be able to say, I want to remarket to the people I've marketed before, so I just want to reach the people who visited my website. So these are some of the advantages of Google search. So you can also be able to integrate very strong call to actions. For example, you can see in the first one, you are clearly telling your users who are searching for your service that we want you to click on our website. You can see here, you can also add something called an extension where you can tell people navigate to our store today. So this is where now you integrate with Google My Business, and people can actually click on the map and get directions to your physical office. So you can use Google Ads to actually increase foot traffic to your offline store. And then the beauty of this is that people only get to pay when they click on the ad. So assuming you have, for example, a business where you're selling flowers in Cape Town, and you're doing your nice ad where you're telling people to come get nice roses to gift their loved ones. So the minute they see that ad, they will not pay anything until they actually get interested and click on the ad. So that's when you get to be billed. And that's why this form of marketing is also called pay-per-click, because you actually pay when someone clicks on your ad. So I would want to answer the question, why Google Ads? I think the first answer would probably be controllability, because that means you can actually control the amount of money you want to use. So if you've just dedicated, say, 1,000 rand for marketing, you can be able to cap the budget and say, I want to use, for example, say 10 rand a day until you get to spend your entire budget. And then, of course, there's a measurability. You can actually be able to measure specifically and say, I want to see my conversions, I want to see my cost per clicks. And then you can be able to target and say, I want to reach specific areas, I want to reach specific demographics. You can be able to do that. And of course, there is accessibility. So that the moment your business in Cape Town, you decide to expand to Johannesburg or any other part of the city, not of the country, then you do not even need to go there physically. You just need to do your ads. Google Ads usually helps you sort all your advertising objectives, be it increase sales, you're looking to increase sales, you want to improve your brand recognition or your brand awareness, you want people to download your apps, you want people to, have more brand searches, repeat purchases, or even if you want people to view your ads, it usually takes care of all those. So Google knows that it's not very easy to actually run the ads yourself. And, of course, getting to hire agency is no small thing. It's not very cheap. That's why they introduce smart campaigns. So basically, smart campaigns are the kind of campaigns whereby, just like the name, they're smart. So Google algorithms takes care of all the hard decisions. So for example, a seasoned marketer, when they want to target an ad, they'll have to look at so many other things. For example, the bidding, keyword research. So for you, if you're running your smart campaigns, you need not worry about all that because Google's algorithms have taken care of all the tough decisions. So you would want to, you would ask whether the smart campaigns are aimed for you, whether they're right for you. So they are right for you if you're a small business, and if your job description fits maybe almost all the roles. You help in distribution, you do the marketing, you are the support system of your website. So basically, smart campaigns will be for you. And also, if you do not have a lot of time to run the ads, or you're not an expert in ads, smart campaigns are the right for you, because you can actually be able to do your ads in as little as 15 minutes. So another thing about smart campaigns is that Google fully automates the experience. So they optimize your ads just based on your website and your Google My Business profile. So every time, for example, if you start your ad today, it will be looking at whatever you're selling, looking at your services, and then optimize depending on the people who are responding to your ads and visiting your Google My Business. Then, of course, after that, you'll get very nice reports where you will be getting the impressions, the clicks, the conversions, among other things. So let me delve into how we can actually set up your business. I want to show you how easy it is to actually do this. So you go to the Google dashboard. It's ads.google.com. You will find such a platform where you can actually select the goal of what you want to make your campaign successful. So for someone, it could be sales. For someone else, could be website traffic. So you actually select the goal of which will enable you to get your objectives. And then for you to run the smart campaigns, you must select the type of campaign to be smart campaign. And then, of course, you must select the action that you would like your users to take when they now land on your ad. So it could be call your business. So if you are interested in people calling your business, for example, for deliveries, if you want people to visit your store, and if you, so for example, I think one thing I would mention is if like your goal is to visit your store, then that's where Google My Business integration will be very useful, because people will actually be able to get maps to physically visit your store. And then, of course, if you just want people to get on your website, click or fill a form, so you are able to select the kind of objective you are looking for. And then once you do that, you're taken to such a screen where you will be able to enter your business name. Definitely when you're doing your promotion, you want people to know the name of your business. And then another good thing, Wilfred mentioned, if you do not have a website, by the way, you can get a free website on Google My Business. It's very easy to do, and it gives you a beautiful website, so you'll not have to worry about things like those. And then from there, you take into another screen where you will be able to set the radius, or basically the locations of the people you are marketing to. So here, assuming you are, like, for example, you have a hotel around Cape Town, you may not be able to serve the whole of Cape Town, but you have a radius. You could say, I'm offering deliveries, so let me just do around 1 mile around my store. So you can actually be able to set the radius so that the people that you're reaching to, the people you're advertising to, are the people who matter to you the most. So because, there's no use for you to advertise in maybe a place like Pretoria and you may not be able to deliver there. So it's better you set a specific radius. And then, like you can see here, is you can be able to add multiple locations. So you can say, you can rather than just taking the whole of Cape Town, you could take the suburbs where you think your product will do well. And then once you're setting your location, you will be able to see your potential audience size changing here. So anytime you add a different suburb, a different city, a different country, you will be able to see that your potential audience is going up. So these are the people who can actually see your ad. And then from
Titus,
there,
sorry to interrupt you, Titus. Could I just, I'm very sorry to interrupt. Could you just switch your presentation to presentation mode on PowerPoint, please? It will just make it a bit bigger for us to see on the side. Thank you.
That is, okay, you can see, right?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry for that. Yeah, so from there you can see we go to the next to the next slide. So here you set up your keyword themes. So what happens is what do you want searchers to be looking for them to see your service? So you can see, for example, for us, we would want to have something like creating websites, web design. So a hotel in Cape Town would be talking about maybe international cuisines, local cuisines, affordable hotels near you. So this is where you actually set the keywords that you want people to be looking for them to be able to see your ad. So what happens is Google will even give you more suggestions based on what you've been specifying. You can see here, like, for example, when we have been talking about creating websites and web design, we are also getting more suggestions based on what we actually showed. And then just like when we are setting the locations, you can see the audience is actually changing every time we have a new keyword. So what that means is now when someone goes to Google and searches for a keyword like creating a website, my ad has a likelihood of showing up on their search page. So from there, this is where we actually write the ad. So, of course, you start with the headline. So headline is what you want your users to see. So you make sure that the keywords which are on your website are highly represented on this ad, because this is your chance to shine. This is your 3 seconds of fame. So you have the chance to put 3 headlines and then, of course, the descriptions. So you can see the headlines are usually capped. So this one is basically a summary. So you talk about your products as a summary, and then here the description, you can now be able to, talk about your, you can be able now to talk about your special offers, any important news and all that. And then you show where your ad is going to be displayed when people click on your ad. And then we talked about the cost implications. So here you get to set the cost implications. So Google recommends a cost for you, but you know how much you want to spend every day. So you enter your own budgets, and then you can now set your billing. So you see, you have a summary of the number of people you can actually reach out to. So impressions basically shows the number of people who will see your ad. And then you are even given a forecast on the number of clicks per month that you are likely to get. And then you get to see a summary and a preview of what your ad will be looking like. Yes, and then you can even add, you'll see your keywords, the keyword themes that you already selected, your budget, the people, the location that you selected. And then here you get a chance now to add your information. So, you select your country, Do you want to be charged in euros, in rands, in dollars, among others? Do you want it to be automatic? Do you want Google to be deducting the money every time you reach a certain threshold, or do you want it to be manual? So you select the billing part, and then yeah, you're done. You have your first ad. So basically, creating a smart campaign is very easy. Like I've shown you, it's as easy as you've seen me demonstrate. And then you will be able to see a dashboard where you get all the important metrics. You can see you have impressions. So if you set, for example, phone call as a goal, you will be able to actually see the phone clicks here. So you will be able to see the number of people who actually clicked on your phone number. And then you can see the map actions. So if there's anyone who requested to, for directions to your store, then you will be able to see all that. And then let me mention before I conclude, so we are a Google partner. So what we do is we help businesses in South Africa, Nigeria, among other countries to set up their ads. So we have a special offer for South African businesses where you match your spend for new businesses up to 900 rand. So that means if you spend 900 rand, we'll match that amount to you. And then another piece of good news is that we set up the ads and do all the account management for the first 1 month at no costs. So that's one way that we actually help businesses, especially in South Africa. So before I conclude, let me also talk about a case study on how a business has ever used ads effectively. So I'll give a South African business because of context. So there's this business called Bag. So they specialize in doing packaging design. So for example, if you have a company and you want the bottles to have the branding and all, so you go to them if you need a website and all that. So we did a campaign for them and we only spent 3,487 rand. Of course, you can subtract the 900 rand I mentioned that we gave as an offer. And then they were able to get 255 conversions. So for conversions, I mean the people who are asking for directions to their shop, the people who are filling the quotes for this company to set them up. No, the people who are filling the contact us form to be sent a quote. So they were able to get that much. And the cost per conversion for them was only 13.66 rand. So that was the cost per conversion. And you can see it was actually, as for me, I would think it was such a successful campaign if you look at some of those numbers. And then their ad was seen by 14,500 users who are searching for those specific packages. So like I was telling you, you can even see the words that people are searching for them to be able to actually land on their site and then ask for the quotes, directions, click on their phone calls, among other things. So I think in a nutshell, that's me. So thank you very much, Robert, for giving us a chance. Maybe I can hand it over to you.
Thank you very, very much, Titus. That was really excellent. I just some comments as Titus unshared his screen. Yes, so I think all of us can see that the Google platform is really powerful. I think there's also many tools which many of us didn't know about before. So that's really helpful to see. I think it just shows that when we are able to bring elements of digitalization into our business, it can really take things to a next level. I think one thing which, there's a couple of stuff, but one thing which I did find interesting is that these kind of tools and applications can work for you even while your business is closed and while you're sleeping. So it just, the technology just allows you to continue with that part of your business even while you're not physically there. And I think that makes it very, very powerful. The last thing I just want to say is also it looks like there's a lot of free things on the Google platform, which is always a great way to start. And I hope and think that businesses will really pick up on that. But what I just want to do now is hand over to my colleague, Angela Abbott, because obviously many of us are wondering, so how do we access it? And Titus, you have given us that one link. Angela is also just going to present on a platform of the departments called Jump for Entrepreneurs. And this is also a way which, through Jump, businesses are able to access the suite of tools and apps that Google provides. So, Angela, I'm going to hand over to you if you can take us further. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Hi, everybody. Just if you could just confirm that you can see the screen come up.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, great.
Thank you. It's
okay,
good.
So I am aware of the time, so I'll just run through this quickly. So I covered this particular platform in much greater detail in our first webinar. So you can always go back to that recording to find out what the platform offers. So as Rob has mentioned previously, it is a digital platform to support SMMEs and entrepreneurs. There are a wide range of tools, apps, opportunities, networks, resources available to you at the click of a button in the palm of your hand. It's a free downloadable app, so you can go to your App Store, Google Play Store, and you search Jump for Entrepreneurs. Don't just put Jump on its own, put Jump for Entrepreneurs, and it's like 2 megs. It's a very, very data light download. And so really what we've tried to do is create a platform where you can access multiple avenues to address the most common challenges you experience while you start, grow, and scale your business. So of course you can go to search on your search engine directly for the Google tools that the gentlemen have mentioned, but I just wanted to show you on Jump that you can access it from here, which is quite quick and easy. So if you go to this icon called Tools and Apps, just saying thank you. Here, right at the end is there are tools, apps, and right at the end here is Google. And really all it's going to do is take you directly into a lot of the features and functions and options available to you that Titus and Wilfred have mentioned. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time going into detail, but if I clicked on Take Your Business Digital, it just tells you, really covers what the gentlemen have done, a nice little summary here, and then you can go in and explore it a little further. What I did want to show you on, sorry, landed up going out of there, is, so yes, so is your Google My Business, your Google Suite, learning digital skills. So there's a number of free courses that you can take to improve your digital skills and improve your knowledge in this area, and to help you in terms of your transformation into digitizing your business. And here is the Google Ads. So you can click on each of these and it'll take you directly there so you can start and engage, which is quite helpful. So I just wanted to mention that there. And Robert, with your permission, can I also quickly go into the advisory support offer we have for the SMMEs?
Sure, Angela, go for it.
Okay, great. All right, so just while I have you here and I have a captive audience for another 2 minutes, I wanted to just share with you that we currently have a nice number of tech volunteers that have offered some free time to SMMEs and entrepreneurs that are wanting to take the leap into converting their business and digitizing their business or transforming their business into the digital realm. So we have an offer at the moment. If you go into events and opportunities on Jump, so you obviously would need to have a profile, and you come into opportunities here. There it is there, access to digital technology advisory support for businesses. So please go in there, complete the little application form. We will get in touch with you and we will match you. We will match your need with the most appropriate expert that we have available to you. And they will spend some time with you, just giving you some advice and support and sort of steering you in the right direction. So please, I encourage you, to come in and take advantage of this opportunity. We're very blessed that these individuals have given up their free time and the goodwill of the situation we are in currently. So please, if you can go here, we would like to get you matched up and get you going in terms of fast tracking your business into the digital space. So thanks, Robert. I think that's it from me, right on the money. I'll hand over back to you.
Thank you very much, Angela. That was a nice succinct presentation. So on Jump. So for those in the audience who haven't known about the Jump platform, now you are also aware of it. And as you can see, just bringing it back to our session today, to access the Google My Business and the Google Ad platform, you could there are various ways. You could go via Jump, you could go via the link that Titus, via the Africa 118 link. There are really many ways. And also, if you're not able to do that, I think I read last week that the most Googled word at the moment is Google. So you can also use Google to find Google My Business and Google Ads. But I think the important thing is that you're aware of it, and that you can start applying it to your businesses, because I think it's really powerful tools and really powerful platforms that we could use. Just a couple of things. I think it's important, especially in the context of businesses and the era that we're in now, that ultimately tools like this is to build a profile of your business, build your value chain of the business, and also in the event and in the end result in increased sales and retail, because it is in the end still about business. So it may feel daunting. I myself am not a techie, and very often learning a new skill or new technology can feel a bit daunting, but I think the platforms like Google My Business and Google Ad and Jump does try and simplify that process to a very, very large extent. But at the same time, upskilling yourself can be daunting, but believe me, it is worth it. If you put in the time, you share information, you build your profile, you do your ads, the returns on it as Wilfred and Titus shared, can be very high, especially during this time that we are in now. And on that note, just before we close off, I just want to get back to our panelists, Wilfred and Titus, and just ask you, I mean, your experience in businesses and particularly SMEs in the non-tech sector, when they start engaging with the Google My Business and the Google Ad platform, what in your experience would be the areas where the biggest challenge usually comes? Where do they usually get stuck? And how would you advise that doesn't become a big hurdle? So maybe if you could think of that one question about what would be the area where people usually get stuck with this, and can provide us some insights. And then secondly, also to either of you, if you could think of the one or two things that SMEs or small businesses should do right away, that can be most applicable during this time that we are working and living through. What would your thoughts be on those one or two top things that business could do with regard to the Google platform? Okay, so Titus or Wilfred, any of you, if you could respond to that, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. So I think for me, the first thing would be around targeting.
Excuse me, Wilfred, sorry, I think there's a bit of feedback. If Titus could just mute his mic, thank you.
Yeah, so I was saying, for me, the first thing is around targeting.
Okay, thank you, we can hear you.
Hello, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was saying the first challenge I find most SMEs experiencing is around targeting. So you find many companies usually target too wide because of maybe lack of not understanding their clients. So it's like they try to reach as many people as possible rather than first trying to understand and analyzing their clients and trying to market only those people who matter to them. So my advice to them is before you start advertising, it's better to understand, for example, your clients first, the profiles, the demographics, where do they live? And then when you go into advertising, do not advertise like you're advertising to yourself. Do not, like, for example, choose the keywords that you feel are cool for your business. Rather than that, put yourself in the shoes of the people who consume your product and use keywords and ads which relate directly to what you think they would search for.
Okay, thank you. Titus, anything to add from your side?
Yes, so just one quick thing to add. When you come to Google My Business, the biggest challenge that most businesses have been facing is the fact that they need to have their businesses verified. So if anybody within the audience has ever tried to put your business on Google My Business, when you come to the verification part, you always have either verification through a video, verification through a postcard. And most of the time people request for postcard because it's the one that is readily available. However, when you request for the postcard, you might end up staying for a whole year without getting that postcard. So that is the biggest challenge we've seen so far on Google My Business, and that's where we come in. So once you have your business ready, or maybe the information ready, you reach out to us, we'll be able to verify you instantly, okay? The other bit is once, let's say your business is verified, the other bit of challenge is taking ownership of your business. So that is very paramount. Why? Because it will lead you to the next step of growth. So once your business is verified and you have access to it, you're able to do the most important 6 things that are listed on my screen. I mean, 5 of them. So the first one is make sure you have a phone number on your profile that people can reach you on. Add a website to your business, and the slide has supported statistics. So when you have a business that has a website, there is an increased chances between 25 to 35% of people getting to your profile and actually leading into a sale. Again, ensure that you have hours of operation. So just making sure that your customers have the correct information. To revamp it up, always put in pictures because human beings are very, very visual. If I see a business online, I'd like to see the kind of services they offer through a picture. So try and demonstrate your offer or your service through a picture. It gives you 42% increase in the requests that you will be getting. And then last but not least, for the customers that you've served, please ask them to review your business. So if you're able to, number 1, get your business verified, which we can help you do, and then number 2, ensure that you take ownership, I think you'll be in the best place and set to be able to move forward your business.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Titus and Wilfred. There's a couple of questions in the chat room. I think most of them have been answered, but there is one that has come through, which I'll pose to either Titus or Wilfred. I think you may have answered this already, but just for the sake of being thorough, the question is, what's the difference between Google My Business and AdWords, please? If you could just give a short response to that, that would be great for one of the questions in the chat room.
All right, so maybe just a clarification. We no longer have AdWords. So what used to be AdWords is Google Ads. Okay. So what is the difference between them? In terms of cost, Google My Business is free. For you to use Google Ads, you need to put in some amount. Okay. The second one is Google My Business is a business profile. Okay, that allows you to advertise. Google Ads is an advertising platform. Right, so Google Ads specifically to advertise. However, on Google My Business, it allows you to create a profile, all right? And so that profile, you can now use it to advertise. Yes, so maybe just those 2 differences. So Titus, if you have something, you can add.
Okay, so thank you very much, Wilfred. So I think on that note, we have come to the end of our presentation. So Titus and Wilfred, any last words from you before I give Angela an opportunity to say one last word before we round off?
The first thing is to thank you for organizing this webinar. So, Google platforms are one of the most important platforms that you can use right now to reach to your customers, and of course to bounce back, because most businesses have really suffered. So in case you need any assistance of any sort, we are just an email or call away. So we'll also send you a couple of forms that you can send to your members, so that we can also get to progress forward.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, Angela, would you have any last words to our audience and to our panel?
Not at this stage, thanks, Rob. I did get my chance just to mention the advisory support offer that's on. So thank you.
Awesome. All right, then from my side as your host for today's webinar on Google My Business and Google Ads, I firstly want to thank Wilfred and Titus from Africa 118. Thank you very, very much, all the way from Nairobi, the Silicon Savannah, our colleagues in the digital economy and digital technology. Thank you very much for you and for your time and for sharing your knowledge so generously with ourselves and with our audience here in the Western Cape, all the way down at the tip of Africa. And then thank you also to our co-panelist, Angela Abbott from our very own digital economy unit, for just giving us a refresher on JUMP and also how that ties into Google My Business and Google Ads. I think the last thing I would just like to say is, with regard to thanks, is to our audience and our participants themselves. We're really great to see that the interest is growing in our webinar series, and thank you for taking the time and for being interested in this to join us here today. It's been really great having all of you. If we weren't able to answer all your questions in the chat room, it's purely because of time limitations, so please, we trust you'll understand that. This video recording or the webinar we have recorded, and we will make it available on our website, and that should be done by Friday. So in the chat window, if you scroll further up, there is a link to our website, and that, so those of you feel you would like to review or you missed something, the video will be recorded. I think there's a hand from our Mr. Tim Paul, who is the Chief Director in the Digital Economy Unit. Tim, would you like to add something before we sign off?
I'd just like to thank you to our guest from Kenya, Asante Sana. It was really a fantastic session. It was really great to have you. Thanks everybody for joining our series. We'll be back again next Wednesday, as Robert was saying. We're going from strength to strength. And Robert, you're going to let us know about the topic, right?
Yes, that's right. So just before I do sign off, there'll be some slides scrolling at the end of the presentation. But as Tim, who, if for those of you who don't know him, he's the Chief Director in the Digital Economy Unit at our department. Our session next week on the 27th of May will be on crowdfunding and alternative funding options for SMEs. So 12:30, Wednesday 27th, we're going to have a very exciting panel and exciting topic. We'll be sending out the invitation to our databases as we did for this, and then going forward, we'll announce our program for June quite shortly. But as we said, we'll keep it exciting, interesting, and valuable. And then from our side, thanks again to all our panelists, thanks to our audience, and this is goodbye for now from the Go Digital Western Cape team, and we'll see you next time. Thank you and keep safe. Bye-bye.